Alright, 3, 2, 1. Hello, Twitch. Hi, Mom. We are here to play some Brazen Crown. But first of all, we should probably talk about who we are and what we're doing in your in your screen.
Interweb box.
In the
Yeah.
interweb box, yeah. The information superhighway. I'm Ash. I am Longtail Games. I am the publisher behind A Brazen Crown and some other things such as Devils of Druids and the Tiny series and Sunderworld. And I'm here to play some A Brazen Crown with who else but the designer of A Brazen Crown.
Hello, I am Brendan. I am a Grillion on your screen, and I am the game designer of A Brazen Crown. I am also the game designer of Skyward Airborne City, and I'm in the Tiny series.
Both.
Yeah, both. That was good.
And if you're watching this now, it's too late. No, if you're watching this now, you can go to Kickstarter and check out A Brazen Crown, where we are just powering through. We're powering through the sort of the quiet middle half of the
Days
campaign.
remaining.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. We've got a couple of weeks left. We're 45, 46% of the way there, and we can do it. We can do it.
Yeah, I believe in us.
Yeah, but in a grim, dark, Morkborgy sort of way.
It was foretold.
Yeah, like
This isn't
success
hopeless.
is
This is just
inevitable,
it was foretold.
but in a bad way. Yeah. So yeah, this is it. Tonight we're going to be running through sort of your first game, explaining a little bit about how the game plays, how to play it, and why to play it. And yeah, that's it.
Hooray. So I will run us through the very opening game. When you play a Brazen Crown, you're going to have 10 half decks, which we can see over here. They are laid out so that we can see basically just which class they are, so we know what they are. When you're picking for the first time, you pick based on only vibes. There is no other reason to care about anything. So the first player, which is going to be me, just for example, is going to take one of these decks and just yeet them out of the world. I'm going to send this over here. It's in the Shadow Realm. I forbid us to use it. It is the Forbidden Pile. So that doesn't really mean that it's gone. There are actually some cards that will let us look at this later on. It's just that Ash is about to pick his first deck, and the one thing that I do know is it will not be this one.
You could say it's a bit of a draft.
It is a bit of a draft. It's a drafting game. So one of the neat draws of this is that each time you play, you get to construct a deck. There are lots of ways to construct a deck. We'll have to rule book, but this is a good fast play. Because apart from the fact that we're explaining it, you can literally do this in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So Ash, yeah.
I will choose this pile.
Yep. And so Ash is the second person to make a choice in this game. So he's going to get the Brazen Crown, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. We are picking 2 decks each and then shuffling them together. And so if I'm picking based on vibes, I'm kind of vibing this one up here. So I'm going to take it and put it just here. And now Ash will pick his second deck. Oh, sorry, Ash is going to pick a Lost Soul. So I'm just going to lay these out here so we can chat about them. I'm not going to rotate them because I don't know how. Here we go. So Ash has already picked one deck.
E to rotate.
E. Oh, right. I'll do this one. So Ash has already picked a deck from the Wretched Royal class.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm actually facing that way. It's fine.
You're actually. All right. No second takes. All right. We've laid these out in a very aesthetically pleasing way. So Ash is playing a Wretched Royal deck, which means he's got a little crown on his deck. They're all very royal themed, and that's tied into the Brazen Crown club. No, it's not a Brazen Crown. This is based on Merkborg. And Wretched Royals are one of the grim lost souls in that game.
Indeed.
Ash's deck needs to be at least partially Wretched Royal. So there are 4 such lost souls sitting over here. So you can pick Soulbender Gunner, you can pick Sir Aegon, you can pick the Haggard Raventusk, or you can pick Candida's Silvertongue, because all of those are partially royal. And you can tell
I will take the Hag. And
the Hag?
That means I'm going to combine the only remaining pile for this symbol. and create a deck of 50 cards that I will shuffle together seamlessly. There we go. R. You want to R to shuffle. All right, and that's my deck. So I'm ready to play.
All right, now I have to make a choice. So I picked a Gutterborn Scum deck, which has the yellow frame. So I can pick Karcheria, I can pick Noctis, I can pick Soulbender Gunnif. Ash picked the last Occult Herbalist deck, which means that this Dazar character, if I picked him, I'd be in a lot of trouble because I wouldn't have the second half of the deck.
No good.
So I am going to not do that. And now I need to pick... I can pick Karcheria because he's a jerk and he will sacrifice things and give me lots of cards. Or I can pick Soulbender Gunnif, and I am going on vibes. So I'm going to pick Soulbender Gunnif. The other half of the deck that I need to get is also Wretched Royal. I'll bring it down here. You can see Wretched Royal and Gutterborn Scum go together based on that frame. I put them together, and now it's time for me to shuffle. All right, and we're done. So we now have 2 decks. We are just about ready to play.
Excellent. That means that we need a word from our sponsors.
We do. Ahem. This video is sponsored by MorkVPN. Staying safe in the dying world is an ever-growing difficulty, and you could be exploited by basilisks, or the Shadow King, or any goblin you meet. MorkVPN allows you to mask your face with a variety of hideous expressions, making you harder to track, securing your privacy. Check out the link in the description to get 20 silver off for the first 2 months. And thank you again to MorkVPN for sponsoring this video. It's really good that we've been able to get this kind of support from the wider community.
It's awesome. And I mean, 20 silver is like canonically just huge. 7 turns, basically.
Yeah, and it's a small price to pay for peace of mind.
It really is.
Let's begin. I keep pressing the wrong shuffle button, but I'm getting it. We each start the game by drawing 5 cards. Because you have the incredibly cursed Brazen Crown, you draw 1 extra card.
Sounds like a pretty sweet deal. Are there any downsides, or is it just awesome?
Why, it's funny you should mention that, Ash, because, in fact, if you hold on to that Brazen Crown for 7 whole turns, you will die.
Huh?
Yeah!
Zoinks!
Yup! But I suppose maybe there might be some kind of cunning way to get out of that. Do you have a plan to get rid of it?
I believe when a minion deals damage to a rival, they shall receive the crown and draw a card.
Oh no, but I'm your only rival, so that would mean that if you gave me the Brazen Crown, then I might die. Well, that doesn't seem fair at all.
A cunning plan emerges.
All right, so I don't have the crown, which means I get to go first. It's a nice little thing that means I'm going to be dictating kind of the pace of the game by laying out threats, and Ash is going to be having extra cards in his hand and trying to stop me from killing him to death. At the very start of the game, you start off with 1 silver and your cards in hand. I'm going to draw a card at the start of my turn. I can play any number of cards from my hand. I'm going to play a face-down trap card, more on that later. And I'm going to summon a minion, which comes into play very sleepy, exhausted from its journey across darkness and nightmare to be with us here today. That cost me my 1 silver. It can't do anything, but I can make it a scapegoat, which means that if Ash has a minion and he wants to try and kill me with it, he will need to go through my scapegoat. It's not that the scapegoat is loyal, it's just that I won't let him do anything else. This trap card is face down until Ash does something to trigger it, at which point I can pay 1 silver, which I'll need to have left over, to be able to punish him for whatever kind of weird, interesting thing that he's done to make my life more difficult. But I've spent my 1 silver, I have 1 minion in play, I have a trap face down that will hopefully be useful in later rounds, and that's the end of my turn.
Pitiable. A pitiable turn, Brendan.
I tried so hard.
If you are watching this and you can hear growling and kind of scuffling noises in the background, I have 4 dogs in the lounge room at the moment of vastly different personalities and sizes. So you know, just you're gonna have to deal with it, I guess, like I do.
If it comes through on my side, I recently summoned 8 imps from the Netherworld, and they are scratching at the floorboards of my cellar. So that's probably me. I'm not sorry, and I refuse to apologize.
Yeah, exactly. You're a method designer. Okay, so I have to start my turn. So at the start of your turn, you always draw a card. I will draw 1 card into hand. And basically, I have $1. Now, in following turns, I will have more silver, but at the moment, I only have 1. I can't save this, and I cannot squirrel it away for later. So what I will do is play Young Beast.
Oh no.
Now, the Young Beast is a card that I have, pretty much one of the only cards that I have several duplicates of. It's every pile of 25 cards has a kind of an anchor. A cheap card that you can have a stack of that sort of give it a central emphasis. So in this case, it is the Young Beast, which is with 0 silver, which means I can play as many of them as I want from my hand on my turn, which is very good on turn 1 when I don't have much money to spend. And when Young Beast dies, I get to make a 3/3 Wild Beast token. So I don't care too much about Young Beast. However, given that Hagar Graven Tosk is a good employer, whenever I play a minion card from my hand, I put 2 vigor markers on that minion.
That's so gross. I should probably have mentioned that when I played my Smoking Grotesque, it says that whenever a rival draws a card, they lose 1 health. And you drew a card at the start of your turn. I just need you to do this 20 more times. 19 more times. I'm good at math.
So what I'll do is I will go over here to some of the tokens that come in the box, and I will put 2 of these on my minion. So
these are the vigor markers?
Yes, these are vigor markers. These are essentially +1/+1. So on the monster you can see it deals 1 damage, and it has 1 health. But not this one, because the 2 vigor markers make it a 3/3. So it's a pretty juicy boy.
I'm in danger.
You are in danger, and I also have a trap. You didn't see
that.
Oh,
man. Mm-mm.
And here, I still haven't spent any money. You
can save it for the trap. You know, if that's the thing they
can save it for the trap, but do I think you're likely to do that? No. So what I'll do is I'll play Sigil of Sigil, and this is a relic. Relics are one of the 4 or so types. We've got spells, minions, relics, equipment. What am I forgetting? Traps. Yes, the one that I just played. So these are relics, and the way that relics works is they come into play with a certain number of charges. In this case, 3 charges. So I'll move over here and put some of these little relic-y tokens on it. And this is essentially the energy left in this decaying relic. So Morkborg, the world is dying, and so are the relics. Magic is fading, and what I can do with this is, in this case, whenever I want, I can spend 1 silver and 1 charge, one of these 3 charges, and place a vigor marker on each of your minions. So once all of the charges are gone, so it goes from 3 down to 0, the relic is destroyed and moved to my discard pile. But that is all for this turn because I have spent my solitary silver.
Alright, are you going to declare a scapegoat?
I am going to both declare a scapegoat and also look here at the Brazen Crown where it says at the end of your turn add 1 misery. So basically because I didn't deal direct damage with a minion to a rival, the Brazen Crown is going to attract more miseries, part of the apocalyptic setting we got going on here. And that's fine. Having 2 miseries isn't such a hit. 7 that I die, so that's something to put on the to-do list. And that's the end of my turn.
Hooray! Alright, I'm going to draw a card at the start of my turn. My minions will wake up so I can start attacking with them. I also have 2 silver coins. What a great feeling. So, at the start of my turn, my hero lets me pay 7 health to slay a minion, which, to be honest, I'm not going to do. I just really need to take
treat yourself.
Yeah. I'm going to spend 2 silver on Grimace. Grimace moved to the big city. in search of a chance to use his very grim humor to really make people feel better about their lives. It's just that no one's laughing. So he's not long for this world. I'm going to make him my scapegoat and hope that his stay here is a short one. But I don't think I need to push through to Ash because his scapegoat's really tough. He has the crown anyway, so I might as well let that kill him. Over to you, buddy.
I think I saw this. Grimace was actually a little bit kind of misunderstood. He had a job spinning a sign or something, and then it all kind of got too much, and he had an imaginary friend, and yeah, I like Grimace.
Oh, it like won 2019's best movie inexplicably, right?
Exactly.
Ugh.
All right, cool, nice. So now it's my turn, huh? All right, that means I will unexhaust my solitary minion and draw one card into hand. I hope nothing. Because of the smoking grotesque, I lose 1 health. So I probably want to do something about that, but I'm not sure if it's a priority, but it's certainly on the list. So I've got 2 silver now. Ooh, that's an interesting card. I think what I will do is the following. I will play Stalwart Inquisitor.
Ooh.
For 2 silver.
I really love that art.
And yeah. Yeah, me too. As long as Stalwart Inquisitor is your scapegoat, yes, it has lifesteal. So I'm probably going to make this card my Inquisitor at the end of, my scapegoat at the end of the turn. For now, I have no money left. And I have a young beast just ready to get out into the world.
Small point of order if you've got the time for it. You played that Stalwart Inquisitor from your hand, and the Haggard Graventusk probably wants to give it a signing on bonus.
Indubitably.
I hate this for myself.
Don't worry.
But I'm glad you've got a nice thing.
Right? She's just lovely to work for.
She's so good.
Yeah. Yes, so the young beast will attack Grimace.
Ouch.
I hope no... Oh, you have no money for the trap. Lovely.
I do not.
So the way that damage works is a little bit different to other TCGs. Basically, we're going to use these tokens here to track damage. So the 2 minions will attack each other. If there was no scapegoat, I would be free to attack any other minion or on the board.
My life points directly.
Or exactly the rival directly. What I would do is probably take out the Smoking Grotesque, but I cannot. So I'll attack Grimace instead. And the young beast will deal 3 damage to Grimace.
Ouch. That's enough to kill it because it only has 3 health, so I'll move it to my discard.
Exactly. And Grimace in return will deal 2 damage to the young beast. Now, the way that these vigor markers work is that on the other side is damage. So normally when damage is dealt, you will apply these damage tokens until it's enough to kill the minion. However, if there are already vigor markers there, all we'll do is take 1 vigor marker off for each damage that is dealt. So it's kind of like a spectrum. You can only have 1 kind of marker on you at a time on each of these minions. So that is that. And my young beast is sadly exhausted for now. I will move the scapegoat to the Inquisitor.
Ouch.
And end my turn. Again, because I failed to deal direct damage, the miseries of the world increase by 1.
Ouch. Alright, so we're up to 3?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to draw my card for the turn. I've got some stuff going on. I think what I want to do is I've got 2 coins now. I'm going to play Betray. So this is one of the cards that I have a couple of. Got a one stun, which is really good at stabbing you in the back. So I can slay a minion that hasn't already been wounded because it's no fun if they want expecting it. Yep. So I am coming for your Stalwart Inquisitor. Please and thank you.
Inquisitor, I barely knew you. I'll move that to my discard pile.
Mm-hmm. I'm also going to play Cryptea, which is a 0-cost knight. This is the other thing that I've got a couple of copies of. And I'm going to give it a single paltry vigor marker. So that's one of these. It's a little bit more effort than if I was just a hag with Graven Tusk, but we can't all be the coolest ever. Thank you. I'm going to attack your life points directly because you do not have a scapegoat.
Ooh,
And I can.
Why I
Yeah.
order?
You should. I think the other thing I'm going to do is be cheeky. I was going to make this one a scapegoat because it's got lots of health and can take lots of hits. But you want to kill that anyway, so I'm going to make you deal with this cretin novitiate.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. That's me. It's your turn.
Lovely. All right, my turn, and the first with a full $3 to play with. What I will do is the following. I will. Ooh. All right, let's play. What is going on here? That's bad. That's bad. Oh my god, it's all bad. I think what I should do is play False Promises.
Ooh.
False Promises is a spell. I make a 1/1 ghost token.
Do you want me to get one for you?
So, yes, please. So this
There
is
you
a
go.
ghost token, kind of like minions, except they don't go into your discard, they can't go into your hand, and there's a stack of them sort of always available. So I'm going to move this here. The second part of the spell is put a vigor marker on every spirit you control. Now I control one spirit. So that's good.
Very good.
I will then play False Promises again
Oh, hello.
to make another ghost. And I will put a vigor marker on every spirit I control.
Wow.
Okay.
That seems quite decent.
So that's 2 silver spent.
Oh, sorry.
And I've got 1 left. I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to go for it. I'm going to spend 1 silver and a relic charge to trigger the sigil. And this can just go bye-byes for now. So I've got 2 charges left, but on the plus side, I'm going to add 1 vigor marker on each of my minions. So that is another 3 vigor markers.
I call shenanigans, and I would like to speak to.
Shenanigans!
Amazing.
All right.
Cool.
I'm out of silver, and what I'm going to do is attack your scapegoat with my young beast.
Okay.
So I will deal 2 damage to your human knight cretin novitiate.
Yep. So we'd put 2 wound markers on it, which is equal to its health, which means it dies.
Exactly,
Goodbye,
as does
cretin
my
novitiate.
young beast. But my young beast is quite okay with this, because when young beast dies, I get to make a 3/3 wild beast token. Because nature's like that.
Rawr.
Yeah, exactly. I got the critters over here. That is the end of my turn, and sadly I have again failed to deal direct damage, which means the misery of the world increases to 4. I will declare a scapegoat. My scapegoat is this, the 3/3 young beast.
Okay. Well, I thought I was doing real good, but you currently have
There we go.
a ghost that can deal 4 damage to me and a ghost that can deal 3 damage to me. And they can fly over my scapegoat, so I would need something cool. Alright, let's see what we get.
Two traps? 2 traps?
2 traps seems like a really good number of traps. Oh yeah, because I've got to put my coins up. Thank you. What I should probably have done at the start of my turn is spent 7 health to get rid of that one big ghost. So I might do that if that's okay with you.
Go for it.
So Yeah. So Soulbender allows me to spend 7 whole health to just outright slay a minion. I think like that's a pretty good juicy target right there. And then I can't do much about the other one, which is kind of a pain. So I'm going to declare a scapegoat because your ghost can fly over me, but your wild beast can't. So they'll have to start thinking about what to do there. I don't really want to waste the life of my 2/2 knight because if they attack, they have to fight your scapegoat, and your scapegoat will just eat them, which doesn't seem great for me. So I'm going to pass my turn. I haven't spent any silver, and please do not think too much about the fact that I still have 2 traps that I could trigger.
Nope, you're just one kid home alone over Christmas in a New York City apartment. I'm not worried about traps whatsoever.
What's the worst he could do?
Right? Okay, so it is my turn. I will draw 1 card. And again, that means health. It's really becoming a thing here.
It's like a persistent itch.
Right? It is smirking too. It's smirking through the whole thing. I'm kind of there we go. I'll do the same here. Alright, so my minions are exhausted. I've got that thing to think about. Let's just try to get rid of the crown, because at full misery, like, this is bad. So let's do the following. I will play Grim Psalmist. The Grim Psalmist is a human sage who's having a pretty just terrible time. No pants.
Perfectly normal Workbook Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. That's just the commute. That's the commute to the pits. That's not even the pits. And if there are 4 more miseries, Grim Psalmist has flanking and frenzy. These are pretty juicy kind of status bonuses. So flanking means that when attacking, this minion is going to deal damage first, which is kind of handy if you don't want to die. Because it means that if you manage to kill the other minion, you don't receive any damage yourself. And then secondly, it has frenzy. And frenzy means that unlike other minions, when it comes into play, it is not exhausted, it is unexhausted. And not only that, but on your turn, if you have a minion that is frenzied and unexhausted, it must attack. So you don't really get a say in that. It's going to go pick a fight with somebody, and you can try to clear the deck and make that as good as possible, but it's going to happen. So that's what's happening there. And of course, the hag is very lovely to work for, and she's going to put 2 vigor markers on this minion. Now, I will just... I'm sure nothing bad will happen if I attack your Grim Psalmist with... attack your Smoking Grotesque with my Grim Psalmist?
Yeah, so it's going to die if I... Don't look, I can't remember. Here we go. Alright. When my scapegoat dies, I get to choose a minion in any discard pile and move it into play as my scapegoat.
Oh no.
Now,
oh no.
I'd forgotten the part where it was anyone, but you've only got a young beast, which is... But I noticed that you also have this incredibly juicy Stalwart Inquisitor. That seems really good.
I trusted you, Inquisitor.
To your grave. There we go. And that's my trap. So once my trap happens, I pay for it, and then it goes to my discard pile. Sweet.
Wow.
Rude. But now I only have 2 silver left and 1 trap. And all traps only cost 1 silver to flip over. But I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah. I'm trying to... Alright, what I will do is I will... It's just such a juicy boy. He 8 health.
He walked out. He ate a lot of beans and good food. And this was before the apocalypse, so they weren't like apocalypse beans. They were like honest nutrition.
What I will do is I will play High Foss Innovation for 2 silver. And that will put 2 vigor markers on each of your minions. Dun dun dun. Well,
That's so gross.
each of my minions, that is. We've actually run out of these tokens. Oh no, I've got them over here.
Yeah. That's disgusting.
That
you
is
should feel bad about yourself.
I should, and yet.
That's just an empty pit where that feeling should be.
Indeed. I think I kind of have to do this. I'm going to attack your scapegoat with my wild beast. So that's I'm going to deal 5 damage to your Inquisitor. Are you going to reveal a trap?
I don't think so. So it's going to take 1, 2, 3, 4. I just need to find a 5th one.
Yeah, I think I can. I can't actually.
Yeah, I'll just use this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things we're kind of doing with this is testing the token count, and since we built this, we've actually unlocked the capacity for just a huge number more. So there'll probably be at least twice as many.
In the box.
In the box, yeah, for reals box.
Yeah.
My mouse has just gone completely AWOL here. Give me a second.
That's all good.
I believe that's one of the foretold miseries.
I was looking back over them today. It's
It's a bad
good
place.
stuff in there.
However, you will gain two life.
2 whole life. So I go from 13 back up to 15. Everything's coming up Millhouse.
But wait, I'm now going to attack you with a ghost, dealing 5 points of damage, unless something happens.
Well, you may need to suspend your suspension of disbelief, but I'm going to poison it to death.
Poison darts. Trigger. A non-broken minion attacks you. Slay that minion. Well. If it wasn't a slayed minion.
Mm-hmm.
And
to death. Oh, I can take one of those wound tokens to adorn
take one
my
of them.
very damaged thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is the end of my turn. Try as I might, the Kolkanesque traps have stopped me from dealing direct damage, so the misery of the world increases. And this is where it gets kind of juicy. It is a hot potato and a game timer in one. If we're stalling, if the damage isn't being dealt to the rivals, this will eventually bring the game to its conclusion. Although it can go longer if we're bouncing this back and forth, i.e. if the other part of the game is advancing.
Yeah, so if you pass it to me, and I have until the end of my turn to back to you before it goes up. So if you get it to 6 and you hand it to me, oh boy, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, it's like it's a cooked grenade. That's the end of my turn. I have no silver left, and I've increased the misery, and I'll pass it to you.
Hooray! All right, so I go back up to 3 silver. I'm going to be cheeky. So I'm going to attack you for 2.
My scapegoat?
Oh, you've got a... Oh, right, your scapegoat. Yep, I'm going to attack it for 2. Which is... I may not have thought this through, but I did say I was doing it.
You're committed to it? So that is enough to kill your Stalwart Inquisitor?
Yes, and it will gain me 2 whole health when I do that.
Yes, 2 whole health. But it means I have no scapegoat remaining.
It's true. And now I'm gonna play. Wait, sorry. I'm gonna attack you for 2.
Yep.
Go down to a smaller number. Yep. And then
I don't like how much money you still have.
it's true. It's very concerning. I'm gonna punish the unready, so it deals 10 damage to each minion without equipment.
No, but the psalmist was devout. He loved Morkborg land. Dang. All right. That is enough. Yeah, that is enough to kill everything basically.
Yes. The only way you can avoid being considered unready is by wearing equipment, which is a card that can appear in our decks, but unfortunately, everyone was fighting naked. It's one of those really bad dreams that you can have.
I mean, he had a little hat.
He did. He's also not wearing pants. And like this is some fairly heavy duty murdering going on. There are some people being stabbed and they're wearing no pants areas. So I'm just saying I think it's blatantly
I'm just saying we need
appropriate.
an FAQ to say this guy here, he's fine. He's got a hat. I'm gonna bring that up with the game designer.
All right.
Awesome. Well, is that the end of your turn?
That is all I can do. And I should spend my money to show that I did that.
So Brendan's going for a crown victory here because I'm not sure I will be able to pass this off before it reaches 7 misery, but I shall try. The real problem is the exhaustion. I can play a minion, but it will not be ready to attack this turn, which gives Brendan plenty of time to respond to it or to have a scapegoat that can just stop that. So what I will do is the following. I will pull. Well, will I?
I mean, holding back a minion now seems very. Ooh.
Well, I've got options, but unfortunately, no beasts. So what I'll do is play Wretched Shade. Finally, you had the holy damage creature and the poisoning, smoking, grotesque, and all that. So finally, Wretched Shade has its day. The Wretched Shade is an undead spirit and ignores bludgeon damage and cannot be declared scapegoat. I don't mind about the scapegoat too much at the moment. When it comes into play, it gets to bludgeon markers. And then I will play Forest Sprite. The Forest Sprite will be declared my scapegoat and will also have 2 bludgeon vigor markers. Vigor markers, that's what they're called. Placed upon.
Yeah. Sweet.
The Forest Sprite leads me to treasure. At the start of my turn, it will make a loot token, which is a kind of silver that I can bank and I can spend later. But for now, that is my turn. The misery of the world increases inexorably to 6.
All right. I really need to think about what I'm doing here. So I'm going to draw a card.
Don't do it.
I do what I want, okay? Go off.
This is grimdark.
Yeah. I think I gotta do it to you, man. I'm real sorry.
Oh my god.
I drew a Divine Visitor, a Carceral Blessed.
Everything? Everything?
Everything? I mean, you can keep the trap. So inside this gigantic ribcage, we're going to store a Wretched Shade, and we're going to store a friendly Woodland Sprite, and a Sigil of Sigfim. And yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
I was looking at this illustration for a long time before I noticed the people inside the cage. Like,
it's filled with tiny people.
I thought that, but now I think it's filled with normal-sized people, and it's very big.
I think you might be right, because it is. Yes, that's true. I like to think that it thinks of the people as tiny.
That is a turn that you can do. That's that. Is it my turn?
It is your turn.
Would you like to declare?
I will make it a scapegoat.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, I will.
On the odd chance I can do something. All right. Let's draw a card. Let's pray to the basilisks for mercy. Ooh.
What is it, you monster?
It's not enough. Oh. I mean, it's gonna be juicy anyway. Let's see. So I've got 3 silver. I will play Unending Beast.
Oh no.
Whenever Unending Beast attacks, heal all beasts you control, and it is a 7/7. Okay, and then I will play Beast Caller. I've been
I see.
sitting on that for a little while. Now, the interesting thing about Beast Caller is that beasts you control have frenzy, which means that the unending beast, which is a beast, is not exhausted and is ready for a fight. So
This is true.
I will deal 7 damage to Caster Blessed.
Oh no. Very good. All of these belong to you again.
Yes, but there are no beasts. There are no beasts amongst them. So that's the end of my
That's so close.
turn, sadly. Yeah, I've got this amazing board presence, and the misery of the world is about to increase. So at the end of my turn, I declare a scapegoat. You did it. The misery of the world increases to 7. I just couldn't get through, and I die.
That's very sad.
So close. So close.
So close.
That's the game. That was a very unscripted, genuine game. And I guess we can sort of break into the post-game chat.
Yeah. So, I guess that went fairly well for me. Like, I had the board clear, and I had the minion that was going to help push me over the edge. And I did feel like it was going to be like a tough one, but that did help a lot, like drawing into these.
Yeah, we've got a little list. One of the questions is, which card was the MVP?
I think it was probably Caster Blessed when I think about it.
I'm thinking it was. But that's the point with $3 cards. That is your entire turn. Did you just get it?
I think I had it to plan around. So
nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really good one for like a crown win.
Yeah, it can definitely help with that. But yeah, so that's definitely my pick for player of the match. I think your Beast Color stage was a really sweet surprise because I was sitting here trying to work out what you could draw into, and
that was pretty much it. I mean, I got the Beast Caller the round before, and I've got like 5 more of them in here. I just needed another young beast, but it didn't come through for me. I knew one thing I could have potentially done was, used the trap and held off on something else earlier, but I knew that you were unlikely to do that in a serious way because you could just zap anything because of your lost soul. So if it was going to be sort of critical to the game, you weren't going to kind of, it wasn't really going to matter. So I thought that the Lost Souls were interesting. We've been talking a little bit about using the Soulbender aggressively and more early, and I think that paid off here.
Yeah, like I used it on a beast token, which you didn't have to pay for, but it still meant that at a critical point, I was going to be able to attack, and you were not going to be able to attack. So that did help a lot.
Yes, I mean that means passing the crown, and I think previously we were using it a little bit more to win. But I think using it earlier could end up being just the way to go. So that's interesting that even internally it's sort of the meta's changing. Haggard Tosk I thought was fun. She's really straightforward in the terms of knowing the strategy, sort of what it's asking you to do. And I think particularly where this plays into it is in the drafting. She's got a really clear drafting objective. Which is actually kind of directly at odds with the false promises. Having 6 of them in there is definitely contradictory with the hero. But it paid off with the young beast, so it's kind of give and take.
Yeah, it's amazing how all of the cards in your deck was like, oh, that's a fair minion, and then you'd be like, also it's going to get the extra 2 bigger tokens each time. It's like, I think if you picked this deck, I'm pretty sure Cryptea is the one that you got 6 of, so you'd have 12 things that you don't have to pay for that are too big, which seems like it could be good for you.
I've been going. My tendency normally, when I'm just like, oh, what am I going to get? I'll get this one. My tendency is to go for the decks with the the cheap minions. I just like minions. I like having board presence. And I thought I'd go a slightly different route, not that different, but slightly different with false promises. And yeah, I think in the case of Hag, not the best.
It's true. And we were playing on vibes.
What would we have done differently? Yeah. I think I played kind of okay. I'm sitting here on the relic. I might have used that, and then I would have had a card in hand earlier, I guess, because there was a point where I either had to I played the innovation rather than spending from the relic, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, I guess like if it's already on the board, like silver in a charge, like it's pretty close. Keeping it in your hand might have helped, I think. Yeah. Because when you did play that, it punched through, and I was in danger of taking damage at that point. Like, I still had my traps, but if you'd been able to hold on the card, it could have been a big deal.
And I wasn't sure, I couldn't quite remember how the other trap worked, if it was going to zap my attacking minion before or after it dealt damage. And I thought, I'll go for it, I'll give it a shot. And it was the before damage one, so drats. Anyway, what about you? What's your post-game things you do differently?
Well, I think I kind of wasted this guy because I got him off you, and that was a big deal, but I didn't protect him. And I think I was running to a point where if you had one more threat than I was prepared for, I was in a lot of trouble. So I was pretty callous with this guy because I was still holding this one at the time. And that, I think, yeah, like I kind of squandered a little bit of my edge because I was so confident that this would do okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, Starwood Inquisitors, funny, I haven't seen it that much in play because there's so many cards, there's a number of them that we haven't been able to see that much in play, but it's something you could kind of base a whole deck around, like the Scarred Veteran who likes it when other minions take damage, for instance, or one that's going to heal minions, because it's an 8, it has 8 health, it's so unusual. The lifesteal doesn't generally play into it, but it's nice.
Yeah. It's just a very solid thing that asks if you brought anything other than minions today. Like, it's definitely great on your team, and it's a fine answer on mine.
From a design standpoint, the game is, I mean, it's thrown around a lot, but it really is 90% plus sort of finished. I think we're looking for things that, from my point of view anyway, I'm always looking for something that is easy to understand and quick to grok at the table. So there might be some small changes in that sense. Was there anything on your side, Brendan, that you thought, this is outrageous?
I felt a little bit bad about how good Casterfield Blast ended up being, but I had also kind of sculpted around like keeping the board manageable. I know that we tweaked something the last game from play, and that's been like an update, but I don't think I saw anything here that was that's absurd, we should talk about it. And I guess that's reassuring. And we've been working on this.
The game is built around the ups and downs. Like it's not a sort of a linear progression of gradually accumulated resources. It's more like I've got the upper hand. Now I've got the upper hand. So Castle Bless is definitely a big boy card, but it's not the only one that has that sort of huge impact on the table.
Yeah. Like all of the decks do have a good spread of 3-cost cards that'll do something similar to Casterfield Blast. So that worked.
Yeah, I think the sort of the way you talked about it in design was, these are cards that will win the game unless there is an answer to them. Yeah.
Like, and a 2-cost card, like if you leave them, they could very well win the game. And with a 3-cost card, it's a lot more of an immediate problem that you have.
So what I might do here is reset the game because there's one little question I want to ask. We just went through the sort of smash up style quick play, the quick draft, but this is sort of a deck building game. So what's the sort of idea for the more elaborate draft where we'd like to choose our own cards?
Yeah, so the shuffle together method is definitely a really great option for either if you are learning the game or if you want to play quickly. If this is a game that you want to bring out at a game site, that's a great way to do it. if you want to dive deep into a game, because for me, I think whenever I am picking up a game, I want to know if it's a good candidate for what if I'm stranded on a desert island. And in that case, there is another way where you shuffle all of these cards together and have one very large deck of cards, which you then deal out on the table. And so I'm not going to grab all 10 of them, but imagine that I did. Like, really picture it in your mind's eye. I'm seeing it. Ash, I'm... Like, you guys are seeing this too, right? I think 5 is very, very adequate, but it's a lot. So we grab these, we shuffle them all together, and then we would have piles of cards like this. One of us would take an entire pile of cards. So let's say that we think Vein Offering is the best card. We'll just do that. Then we refresh. Each time we pick, we're taking the entire pile of cards. You could either take this piddling little 1-card, take the 2-card pile, and then you keep improving each pile until they become just completely impossible to ignore. Or at one point, you will need to pick up a Lost Soul. So you can also drop the Lost Soul and add more cards to the pile. At the end of this, you'll have spent a bit of time really crafting like your favorite cards out of these piles. You build a deck of at least 30 cards. Anything that you don't take becomes a little personal forbidden pile. That's going to matter a lot to heroes like Candidas. So there'll be a really interesting balance between, do I want to have this in my deck so I can draw it naturally, or do I want to have a very managed forbidden pile? This will all make sense later in the future when you're visiting this to redraft your favorite game. But the important thing here is that you can draft decks like we did for our shuffle up pile, or you can draft cards, and instead of playing just 2 classes, you might play 3 or 4 or 5, and then pick a Lost Soul that really goes with it. So Karcheria likes sacrificing minions so that you can draw cards. That's great. He's really good with cultists. There are cultists in both the Scum decks and the Fang decks that he comes along with naturally, but there are cultists everywhere. You can find new and interesting things to sacrifice in any class.
So 2 questions. One of them is we had a very astute rulebook reader on Kickstarter ask, what's the go with forbidden piles? The rulebook says at the moment that every player chooses one, so that would mean that you need like 12 piles. There's a little bit of a lag in the rulebook, which just means that it's not the current sort of internal game as we're playing it. But anyway, what's the deal with forbidden piles? How does it work in this draft?
Sure. So a forbidden pile is meant to be sort of like a binder of cards that you didn't bring to play with today, or a sideboard is how they photo it in some other. Basically, the idea is you draft all your cards. That's great. You want to play with some cards, that's your deck. Anything that you don't want to play with, we're referring to with the slightly stylized name of forbidden pile. So these are cards that are locked away. You're not actually going to draw them during the game. Some effects do reference the forbidden pile, and in this mode, it's the bundle of cards that you had a look at but didn't keep.
Right. So we're each going to have them.
Yes. In this mode. So in the other mode, we ban entire decks of cards just so that you've got a forbidden pile that's easily accessible.
Got it. Cool. So it's basically a cube.
It's basically a cube. You can draft without having to buy card. Well, that's definitely a strange way of putting it. But yeah, it's intended to be a drafting game, like a trading card game could offer you. But it all comes in the one box, and you can keep it forever. And because they are game pieces, you can take them down to your local gaming store and play with randoms.
Lovely. So that's you can get the TCG experience without spending a bajillion dollars, and without trying to keep up with an elaborate meta. That's ever evolving, and we hope you liked this video of us playing a Brazen Crown. It is on Kickstarter right now. You can back it. Please back it. We want to get this into print. We love the idea of a Morkborg card game, and we think it's lovely, and we'd love to bring it to you.
Do we have time before we wrap up, Ash, for one word from our sponsors?
Yes, we do. The end times are hard, but planning for the end times should be easy. Sigfums offers you peace of mind for the price of a steady meal each day. take the guesswork out of the apocalypse with Sigfum's estate planning. And I know that I'm signed up.
Me too. It's such a good thing to have in your back pocket. All right.
That's it. One more note.
Yeah.
And it's actually something that you mentioned in your upcoming designer diary, but this is a game that will ship with an open gaming license. What does that mean?
An open gaming license is a promise / offer to you. So I love a lot of different things that are part of nerd culture, but what I kind of don't love is the idea that if you're a fan who really cares about something, you're relegated to a passive consumer. What we want is, if you like this game and you think that it would be improved, yeah, you can make it better. You can just print out new cards. You can make new cards. You can then put those cards on itch, or you can take them down to a place and print them. And if you really, really feel it, please make an expansion for this game, sell it, and then tell me about it. I'll probably want a copy, because I would die laughing if I got to drop this game without knowing what the cards were. That seems like a lot of fun.
That'd be amazing.
But the Cliff Notes is, yeah, it'd be so good. But yeah, the Cliff Notes are, if you like this game, you'll own it in more ways than one. You'll get to make more cards, and we support you in doing whatever you would like with those cards.
Yeah,
it'll be supported the same way that the Merkborg third-party license works.
Yeah, exactly. The credits of Merkborg, I really believe that half of the success of Merkborg is in that open gaming license. The other half is in graphic design, but the first half, I think, is the license that allows everyone. You know, there's a sort of culture, and some games will have a tolerant sort of approach to third-party content. But this license really is welcoming, and it's not even kind of imperious. They don't check the stuff. They don't see if it, sort of satisfies the corporate guidelines for what the IP is supposed to represent. If it's not racist or gross in that kind of way, go for it. You can make Morkbook stuff, and that's exactly the sort of spirit that where we've taken this project on, and we wanted to spread that to anyone else who, for some reason, has watched people make a Morkborg card game, brought it to Kickstarter, and thought, I'm going to do that too. You can do that, and it will be completely compatible with this game in your eyes, and maybe everyone else's eyes. Who knows? You do what you want. We're not your real dad. That's it. That's all we wanted to say at the moment. Thanks for watching. The campaign is live right now, and we hope you check it out at some point. Brendan, you had something very grimdark to say?
I did. Praise the fire that burns all, and praise Verhu, beaming with delight.
Yours, until the darkness swallows the darkness. Ash.